millennial perspective. As always, I'm Justin French, accompanied by
Megan Wallander
and
Lauren French.
And today we want to talk about the fear that's gripping our generation right now. And not even just that, but what's behind it, what's pushing that forward. Because that is a big thing going on with this virus. And not even just people saying, they're not just saying, oh, I'm afraid of it, but they're saying, we can't go out, we can't do this, we can't do that. And what's behind that? What is pushing our generation to think this way?
What's crippling them?
Exactly.
Crippling them to the point where they can't go home, or they're staying home. They can't leave their home. Our schools are shut down. What is behind that? What drives that fear to believe that?
Right. And a lot of times it's because we don't know.
Yes.
We don't go out and seek for ourselves. We don't go out and look at the statistics. We don't go out and look at the facts behind something, which creates this level of unknown in ourselves, which then creates fear because we don't know what's coming and we're just listening to what people are telling us rather than having a good foundation in ourselves.
And they don't see that as being ill-informed.
Right.
They take that at face value and they don't know that they have no idea what they're talking about. There's no foundation in it.
Right.
Great point. A foundation of who you are, where do you come from, and where you're going.
Right.
We talk about the generations, and the millennial generation, as we call it, has no foundation. We are told from a very young age to go find yourself. Try different things, travel. You don't have to know who you are.
Right.
What?
I've been told since I was little, since we were young, that it's okay if you don't know who you are.
Right.
What?
That
doesn't make sense to me in that scope, because then there's nothing for me to go off of. How am I supposed to navigate growing up, going through these things, knowing what I'm supposed to do as we age through all of this?
Which leads to a very large lack of confidence, especially in our
Absolutely.
generation. And
No idea what to
that's
do.
one thing that we see big time right now is a false confidence. Is these people that show big and they're cocky about things, stuff like that. And a lot of times that leads from a very large lack of knowledge. And I'm going to tell you that you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. No matter what.
No matter what, whether you actually present a valid argument or
Right.
not, they're going to tell us that we're wrong. But and like Lauren said, that's told to us since we're this little,
Right.
with the participation medals and trophies and everything like that. I mean, whenever I was coming up in middle school, we had intramurals and everything like that. And if my team wasn't first, second, or third, we got that blue stupid little participation medal. I hated that thing because I felt like it was a slap in the face. It was like, you suck, but you still get something.
Exactly. You did not win. You achieved absolutely nothing, but here you go, which creates a false confidence.
Right.
I didn't achieve anything. And with it being from school, going into your college life, going into the workforce,
Right.
and we see that running rampant through this particular generation. I know with my experience, when I talk about my career, and I was in the restaurant industry for 15 years, and coming up, as I got promoted and to a higher position, general manager, hiring people and working with this particular generation, I saw that a lot. They wanted me to congratulate them for showing up on time. Wait, that's your job. So
Right.
as a child,
Expectations.
the expectation is I want to win. I wanted to be the boss. I want to be in charge.
Yeah.
And we see today, you brought up a statistic.
Yeah, so I was actually just writing a paper for university. And I was talking about the drop-off of people going into small businesses and starting their own small businesses. Well, if you actually look at our generation, it's close to 60%. It's between 50 and 60% of our generation would rather have the assistant position rather than the CEO position, right? And that's compared to the Gen Xers, right? Which it was right around 20 to 25% had that mindset. So
Really?
that is
The gap.
That is a 20 to 30% increase in people with that mindset, which is unreal from generation to generation.
With our generation just being mediocre.
Right.
Saying that I'm going to settle for this because I don't want to be, let me use the dishwasher,
Right.
But I don't want to be the CEO held accountable to every decision being made, XYZ. Why is that?
Right.
Do they not know how to make a decision? Do they not know how to do these things? Do they not know how then? Because they'd rather not be put in that conflict, that fear, and have to do those things and still feel like, oh, I'm great, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
Which leads us back to that participation. I want to be a part of a team, but the accountability is not going to be there.
And this
which
is what
very
we've
sad.
seen,
Yes.
especially in, I mean, you've been in it for a lot longer than I have. And I've seen it just in my short work experience, just in the retail side of things.
Right.
People
right.
don't want the responsibility, but they want the pay.
They want the pay, and
They want to be
their
taken care of.
Yes.
Exactly.
They want the recognition. Oh no, you're fine. They want the recognition, and that's where that lack of confidence is.
Yeah.
So when we think of fear, confidence, driving, is it fear that drives us? Is it confidence that drives us? Is it emotion that drives us? And we see that with the current state of today's society, our economic society, our going back to work, getting our families back to work. What more examples of what's going on?
Well,
as far as
and in my opinion, this is being engineered by the
Great
people
point.
that are in power right now. I know that meme came out saying "Okay, Boomer" a little bit ago, but that's not our point by this.
no, not at all. But you're making a great point.
The boomer generation are the people that are in power right now, and they're significantly older than us. Not to,
It is. It's a generational thing.
But it is. It's generational, and they're the people in power telling us what they want us to be.
Absolutely.
And they want a society that just listens and goes with whatever they want.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Based on what we've gone through, what we've seen as we've grown up, what I've been told, what coming down from that boomer, that what they've told us, what we've been taught, especially going through the school system, they want us to listen exactly what they're saying, putting that emphasis on, it's okay not to listen to your parents, it's okay not to listen to
Right.
we want you to do these things and figure out on your own. And then they gave us that segue into listening to what they wanted us to hear.
Well, and you make a great point in they want us to step back and find ourselves. So if we have a generation that is trying to find themselves, they're looking here and they're looking here and they're looking over here, there's no solid foundation, then they will go with the flow.
Right.
They will
Right.
just follow blindly to what they're saying. So we have a political system made up of that particular generation, and I'm not coming down on that generation. We have some great people out there in that generation. But who is running what's going on right now?
Yeah.
The boomer generation, who has been part of our education systems, our political systems, and infiltrating and generating a
Silenced
generation, which we are. We are part of that, what we call the silenced generation, where we are told to go find ourselves. You don't need to listen to the authority of your parents. You don't need to have faith in anything.
And that shows with this Harvard professor was quoted
Right.
in a Harvard news article, I forget the periodical, saying that it's dangerous right now with all these kids being homeschooled.
I read that.
Because she's scared of them listening to their parents and what's that going on. And the thing is, I don't feel like that's directed towards the parents or the college professors. It's directed towards us. Because
Absolutely.
whenever our generation reads that and sees that, they're like, you're right. I don't need to listen to my parents. And that makes us beholden then to those people in power right now and what they want us to be.
Which again, it was engineered. They want us to look to them for the answers.
Right.
They want to be the say-so, you do this, you don't do this, I'm telling you this, your mom and dad don't know.
Right.
Wait a minute. A true foundation, family first, right? When we talk about faith and we talk about being a believer, the family is the true existence of the Father, right? They tell us you don't need to believe in any of that. You don't need to have faith in your family or that true existence. And it has been, again, we might be driving this point, which we are, believing from this point on, kindergarten all the way up, education system,
And the thing is, right now, they're telling us from right there, we're going to take care of you. In this
Absolutely, you make a great point.
In this situation right now with coronavirus, they're using it as an excuse to say, hey, we're going to take care of you. We're going to do all this for you. And, and they're throwing, $2 trillion at the American people. Where's that money coming from? I mean, I think that's a great question.
It is a great question.
I don't think the U.S. government, who was already, multi-trillion dollars in debt, had $2 trillion just laying around. No, we're borrowing that money. And whenever all this is over, who do you think is going to be paying that back?
Do we legitimately understand the ramifications, long-term effects of an economic halt, a stay-at-home order where nobody is putting any money into the system? We talk about all the things that should be going on right now: baseball games, shopping for summer, family vacations, money that's going back into the system. When we put on an economic halt, that money is not coming in and there's no money going out. What does that look like long term? The effects of a dollar amount having to be paid back. Wow.
And that's going to, no offense to the boomers, again, they're not going to be the ones still going into the system.
No,
with
they're
all
not.
That
Paying
cash,
that. They're retirement age, right?
That's going to be our generation.
It is our generation.
And even the younger generations underneath us that can't really have a voice yet.
They don't have a voice. And like you said, this particular generation will be seeing the repercussions of this well into, when
Our
we get up to that
retirement
age. Absolutely.
And I circle back a little bit in this sense, but as we go through what we went through in schooling, what I remember, I was never taught about that type of system, with the taxes or learning about. We had one class, I had one class in high school throughout my education about personal finance.
Right.
I don't remember talking about learning how to, buy a home and doing those things. I learned from my parents. But in our general society, that's not taught either.
Right.
And those things and not being prepared, and they don't want you to know half of those things. They don't want you to be prepared.
Because they want to take care of you.
They wanted us to feel like they could take care of us. As we went through all of this, and that we wouldn't ask questions about that or see the repercussions that would come out of it.
Which, brings it silenced. You're silent. You go along with the flow. You go find yourself. We'll take care of everything.
Right.
And I think I know that is the point that we are trying to bring to you. That is the information we are bringing to you from a millennial generation. We are part of it. We are in the workforce. I have bought a home, and yes, it was a little scary, thinking about a 30-year fixed mortgage. What? But I didn't just say, I'm going to go buy a house and then not look up any information, not go find out what do I need to do.
Right.
And the accomplishment of sitting down there and signing, 200 pieces of paper, that can be a little intimidating, but the accomplishment and the confidence that I got from that experience will carry on through my entire life. And so again, that's what we're trying to really get across to everyone, that information is knowledge. It is confidence. It is power to make decisions based off of facts versus emotion.
And like we said, this is based off all our experiences
Absolutely.
so far. And we would like to hear from you as well.
Absolutely.
If you have experiences like this, you don't have to be silenced.
No.
You don't have to not talk about it, nothing, not listen, anything like that.
Right.
We would love to hear from you. You can check us out on all of our socials, Red Earth Prod. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Well, we're going to continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
And make sure that these things continue to be talked about, because we aren't going to be silenced.
We have a lot to say, and we know that you have a lot to say. We don't believe that we're alone in this silenced piece of this generation. We have a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts, and we know you do too. So please reach out to us.
And we'd like to thank you for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, all of those things, and we'll see you in the next episode.